Hey, what's up guys, Fortexfiend here, and welcome back again to my channel with another video on SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my banner review, and I guess a should you pull for the new banner that was released as of last night. Now, I do apologize, I was supposed to get the actual should you pull video for this banner out yesterday, but I had been dealing with a very personal matter that I had to take care of. I'm okay, everything is good, but for those of you that were wondering, I did make a short announcement. Thank you for those of you that checked in, really means a lot. But this is going to go ahead and be my video for this banner, essentially reviewing it and letting you guys know if it's a worth it investment. You guys know the drill though. Before I get started, subscribe, notification bell, like, dislike, comment, yada yada yada. Let's go ahead and just get started with this video. All right, so this is going to be the brand new banner right over here. This is in conjunction with the Stardust Memory Part 2 story event. We're going to take a look at the featured units. So the first one we're going to take a look at is going to be the SSR Defender that is featured, the New Zeal 2. I think I'm saying that properly. Okay, so it's an SSR Defender, and I like how they added that option now so we could see its stats, whether it's SP'd or not. I think that's a cool quality of life there. It does have access to a ranged attack of up to 5, which is right over here. I think that's pretty cool, which is funnels. So decreased beam weapon power by 25%. Pretty standard. I like how it's 5 range, so it makes positioning a little bit better. It does have an AoE attack, which is barrage. Only 1 ammo on it, no other added effects. So for a defender having an AoE, I guess it's a cool option, but nothing really to write home about if you guys want my honest opinion on that. And then it also does have another debuff at a 4 range that decreases physical weapon power by 25. So pretty flexible, sort of, in terms of like the 2 debuffs that it has. It either has beam or physical, which is very nice. In terms of its abilities, we have increased defense. It also has damage mitigation from incoming beam range weapons by 40%. And then it has a conditional one: when the enemy attacks from 4 spaces or more, reduce damage taken by 20%. We're starting to see more of this. The first time we've seen this now is actually with Burning Gundam, which is currently still live with its banner. But now they're actually adding it to other units, which I think this is awesome. So, and I do believe that this does not apply to the weapon damage nullification that a lot of those EX attacks have. If I'm wrong on that, let me know. But because it doesn't specify what type of damage that is being received, it just says reduced damage, I don't think it applies to that. But let me know if you guys think otherwise. And then in terms of the tags, pretty flexible. I would say it's part of 3 different series, which is great. It has Saikamu, it has Unstoppable, it has Axis, which I believe is a new tag, and it also has Large Machine, and I think we're starting to see more of that. So I'm still crossing my fingers for a Large Machine UR supporter warship. So all in all, it's a solid defender for an SSR. This is not the one that you're chasing, obviously, but if you pull it, great option there. They're also bringing back the Albion right over here. So if you're missing a test type ship that has HP restoration, you got one right over here, which is awesome. So now that we're actually seeing them bring back some of these older these UR supporters and things like that. Hey, the brand new one, which I actually did a pull last night off stream. I did one, and I happened to pull this, is going to be the brand new ship. This is not limited, so it's not going to get like, what is it, like the 44% increase to stats. But this does cover not only test type, but also Mobile Suit Gundam 883 Stardust Memory. So for those units that are part of that series, it's now covering that. It is energy restoration, which is, I like the HP restoration better, but it's pretty cool. We're now seeing some supporter warships now that have 2 different tags, or 1 tag and 1 series, excuse me, in terms of like their ability to increase stats depending on how you build your party. But cool ship, but it's not the one that you're chasing. They did also re-release a limited UR, which is the Gundam GPO-2A with the supporter Anival Gato. And I know they buffed this one, so if we go into upgrade, because I actually have this particular unit, and we go to the pilot, I can find Gato here. Where is he? Anival Gato, where are you hiding here? Let me just filter by series. Stardust Memory. You know what? Let's just go to Mobile Suit Gundam. I believe is he there? No? All right, technical difficulty here. Oh, there he is. Okay, Anival Gato. I believe they buffed him. And let's see. Yep, they did. So when piloting his own suit, it increases the max range of his physical weapons by 1. So it's pretty cool that we're seeing them bring back these limited time URs on these banners. So we're probably going to be seeing Strike Freedom come back, and it looks like they buffed these characters, or at least that's what we're seeing. I don't know if they're going to buff Strike Freedom. There's nothing much they really need to buff, in my opinion, with that particular unit. Still really good, but they gave the pilot a buff, which I think is nice. So if you happen to pull this particular unit with this pilot, pretty cool investment there, if I were, if you want my honest opinion. So it's cool that they brought that back. And then afterwards, our two brand new URs are going to be the Attacker New Zeal and also the Defender Gundam GPO3, with the Defender being the limited time UR. But we're going to take a look at the non-limited UR first. We're going to take a look at the pilot, which is the attacker version of Anavolgato. In terms of his skills, he has range boost, boosting his range damage by 20%. He has high speed and sway. I think all of these skills are excellent. And if you take a look at his range stat at max, 861 is quite high, making him probably one of the attackers that has the highest range stat in the game currently for our UR pilots. In terms of his abilities, he has increased damage dealt, another increased range, which is great. And then if he's piloting, if he's piloting a Zeon tag, and when piloting the new Zeal, he increases his attack by 3% up to 15% for each unit bearing the above tag. So if you're running a full Zeon team, which it shouldn't be hard to build a full Zeon team, if you take a look at what's available right here, he's going to be getting an attack buff up to 15%, which is excellent. And also, when piloting units with the specified tags, he's also going to be increasing the damage he deals and also reducing the damage that he takes. So all in all, I would say this pilot is actually quite solid. He is missing the coveted double chance step, but he does have an extremely high range stat to make up for it, and he also has some pretty good skills, in my opinion. So the pilot is really, really good. Now, in terms of the actual UR unit, as we can see right here, it has a pretty solid attack stat at 13k. And then if we take a look at its actual weapons, it has quite a diverse kit right here. First of all, we got the Mega Cannon, which is an AoE attack. Only one ammo, but it has a pretty decent power at 5040, and it's covering a pretty wide space. That's a very, very good AoE attack. Its best skill, which is going to be the Mega Cannon EX, has a base power of 6120. It can go up to 17% the farther you are from the enemy. So again, playing off of that range damage, because that's Anavolgato's special, and it does have absolute hit and weapon attribute damage reduction null. So very, very powerful attack there. Not as powerful as we've seen from other units, but for a non-limited UR attacker, it's pretty good. And then it also does have wired claw arm. So this one is at a range of up to 3. It does have critical damage increase by 25%, which is always nice to have, because in the event that you do crit, you're going to be doing more crit damage. Okay, ability-wise, increased attack. It has damage mitigation, reducing beam range weapons taken by 30%. And then when enemies are being fought from the specified tags, which is EF, SF, UC, it also gets an increase in own attack and defense by 15%. So anytime you're fighting stages where a majority of enemies are from this particular tag, and there's a lot of them, or even, for example, Master League, which we're going to be seeing that soon, you're going to get an increase. So great way to counter that particular tag when you're using this unit. In terms of the actual tags that it does have, it has Unstoppable. Unstoppable is fantastic. It has Test Type. It's part of the UC series. It has Rival. I think it's a fantastic overall non-limited time attacker, and it's part of 2 series, which is Stardust Memory and Mobile Fighter Gundam, so, or Mobile Suit Gundam, excuse me. But very, very good unit overall. Do I think it's worth chasing? I'm going to say no, because it's not limited, but if you manage to pull it, I do think for a non-limited UR attacker, it's a really, really good unit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the star of the show now, which is going to be Kou Uraki and his GPO3. So he is a defender pilot for this particular UR version. If we take a look at his skills, the ones that stand out are going to be Force Guard level 5 and High Speed 2, which now gives him +2 move. That's really, really cool. And then he has Save Energy. I kind of wish this was some kind of HP restoration, especially because he's a defender, but the rest of the kit kind of makes up for it when we get into it. But all in all, solid skills there. I like the high speed too. He is a double defender. So as you can see right here, when he's executing a support defense, increase own defense by 25%. He also has just an innate defense by 25%. So this guy's stacking a lot of defense, which is really good. And then if he's piloting his own Gundam, he's going to be improving decreased attack weapon effects by 5%. So if he has like an attack down 35%, that's now at 40%, making his attack down the best attack down debuff in the game currently. And then if he's piloting EFSF, which he will be if he's going to be using his own suit, He's going to be reducing damage taken by 15%. So he's stacking a lot of defense and some mitigation there, and he is a double defender, which is awesome. So all in all, I would have to say that he's probably one of our strongest UR defender pilots now. The only thing that he's lacking that some of the other pilots have, such as Jonah and Mika, who are still widely used to this day, is the HP restoration skill. But everything else, I think, makes up for it. Again, he's stacking a lot of defense and a lot of mitigation here. Okay, let's take a look at his actual unit, because this unit is kind of spicing things up here. So this is the GPO3. It has good HP and fantastic defense. Terrain is kind of sus, being functionable in space and not so good in atmospheric, and then you can't bring him to anything else. In terms of its actual skills, we got detonation cord, which, check this out. Usable, so this one is absolute hit, and it looks like it actually moves him when it uses it. So this is a really cool one where it's an AoE attack that when he executes it, he also moves, which is really, really cool. And then afterwards, his EX ability, which is the Mega Beam Cannon EX, has that 35% attack down. And because of that passive that he has, it's now going to be at 40%, which again makes this the strongest attack down debuff in the game. I also like how the range is at 4. Could have been better at 5, but hey, you know, with that powerful increase to the attack down, I think it's worth it. And then he has another Mega Beam Cannon, so this one is at a range at 5. Decreased beam weapon power by 25%. This is at 30 if Kou is piloting this. Let's see what else this has. It has micro missile and large beam saber. You're not using this unit for that primarily. In terms of actual abilities, you got increased defense, increased max HP, and reducing enemy attacks with beam range weapons by 50%. So again, tons of mitigation, lots of defense stacking, very, very good. In terms of mechanisms, so this one has 2. It has the 2x2, which is essentially large machine. And then it has a brand new one called Escape Function, which I think is what propels this particular UR defender to possibly being currently the best defender that we have in the game. So it transforms into a different unit when HP falls to 0 during battle once. If the post-evacuation unit only has a terrain capability of dash, then the evacuation will not occur. So what that means is that if he dies, or if his original unit gets reduced below 0, he's going to jump out, and it's going to become Gundam GPO3 Stamen. Still has solid HP, not as good stats as its other version. As you can see, now it only has 2 abilities, and as you can see, it doesn't have an EX skill, so pretty much it becomes regarded as just like an SSR, if you want to call it that. But what makes this really strong is essentially you need to focus a lot just to take down his original form, and then afterwards you have to take him out again, which is going to be a lot easier to take out this one, but still, you got to work hard. So I really see this unit standing out a ton with Master League, especially with the upcoming one with Test Type being featured. So if you happen to pull this, I think it's a really, really powerful defender. And this one actually has shield defense, which is nice because the other one already had so much defense stacking and all that once you take that out, at least this one has some sort of way to mitigate damage. Gonna be easier to kill, obviously, but having essentially a second life or like a re-raise into another unit is really, really cool. So all in all, I think that this banner is pretty solid. I do think that the star of the show is quite a good unit. Do I think you should be investing, though? If this is one of your favorites or you love Stardust Memory that you have to pull, then you're going to be pulling and you don't have to listen to what I have to say. But if you are on the fence, here's my personal recommendation. For those of you that already have some strong defenders, such as, for example, Banshee Norn, that UR defender, or for example, even like Mika, or even like Jonah, for example, I probably would suggest not pulling as powerful as this particular unit is as a defender with that extra life, if you want to call it that. Everything else to me is not completely game breaking, and I think you could get away just fine through content without pulling on this particular unit. If you are a newer player that is just getting into this game, I would still highly suggest you pull on the other banner that is currently live that has Burning Gundam and Unicorn. I think those are going to be a better investment overall because there's a plethora of defenders that you can actually just build from the development tree. Even some alt ones. I think the one that's from Seed is it Seed or 00? One of those two is really, really good. The name's not popping up in my head right now, but there's like good free ones that you could build and earn. And then if you do pull, you might actually pull a UR defender, such as, again, Jonah's or Mika's, and those pilots are actually really, really good. Their units are pretty solid, but if you have something like that, I'd say pass on this banner and just wait, because I feel like there's going to be something better down the horizon, especially during Christmas time. I myself, besides the one multi that I did where I got the warship, am not going to be doing any more pulls on this banner. I love Kou Uraki and Stardust Memory, but I just don't think he's worth my diamonds right now. I really do have to save because the last banner really burned me hard. No pun intended with burning Gundam, but it did shaft me pretty hard, and I do need to recover my gems. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Did you guys pull on this banner? Do you guys think this unit is quite powerful? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.